Picture this: heart pounding, palms sweaty, and every cell in your body's in high alert. You're in the heat of the moment, facing a crucial decision that could make or break your day, your week, or even your future. You need to think fast, act fast, as the gravity of the situation is weighted heavily over your shoulders. It's a moment that feels like a crossroads, where everything around you comes together, requiring your full focus and clear thinking. Like trying to solve a puzzle with a ticking clock, but it feels like the whole world is watching, and whatever you do next will have a great impact on your future. So you need to have a super clear mind and preferably hit it on the nail. But for some reason or another, you feel like you can't move, you can't think, and you can't act. And you basically freeze. Raise your hand if you have ever felt like this. Yep. You see, well, you're not alone. Trying to make a decision under a hard and unexpected scenario is something that everyone has gone through or will eventually experience if they haven't. Let me tell you about a first-hand encounter I had of this kind a couple months ago. So I was living in Ottawa, Canada. It was mid-January, around negative 15 degrees Celsius. So it was extremely cold. That kind of cold, once it gets into your bones, it's all you can think about. And worse, feel. I was living in a boarding school, which meant I had friends as family and teachers as parents. And because of how cold it was, we would usually just stay inside, do some indoor activities. However, there was this one night, me and my friends decided to go to a nearby park to have some fun, which later on included drinking some alcohol to better endure the cold. And yes, I know how bad this sounds right now. So we were having fun, dancing around, chatting with a few friends. You'll know how it goes. When all of a sudden, my best friend, also an international student, suddenly fainted. At least that's what we thought had happened. And as young, naive teens, we thought that my friend, with just a few sips of water, would be okay. She would stand up and go back to normal. However, that's not what happened. My friend was not responding to our screams, pleas, and cries for her to wake up. And as I started to realize the gravity of the situation I was under, I froze. I stopped thinking, acting, moving. And I uselessly became a rigid spectator of the situation. Now, if you come to think that my friend was not Canadian, thus not used to this weather, and she was laying in the over-freezing turf and snow, it made everything worse. But I just stood there, unable to do anything and eventually leading to leave my friend behind. Now, this day marked a chapter in my life, because even though my body felt like rushing into action, which I later on understood was adrenaline, I felt like I couldn't move. And it's a day I don't like to remember, because freezing when my friend's well-being was at risk not only made me feel confused as to why I reacted the way I did, but it made me feel angry and stupid as I came to realize that my actions that night were a matter of life and death situation to my friend. It was then when I decided I wanted to figure out why I reacted the way I did and to see if I could control it. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Luisa Asali, and it's a pleasure to be talking to all of you today. We will be diving headfirst into the fascinating world of decision-making under the influence of adrenaline. Adrenaline. What is adrenaline? I don't think there's a single person in this theater that hasn't heard of it. Adrenaline is like a firework bursting mid-sky, filling you with energy. Or like riding a roller coaster ride, sending your heartbeat rising and making you feel like you can fly mid-air. Well, scientifically, adrenaline, also known as an epinephrine, is a hormone and neurotransmitter produced by adrenal glands, which are located on top of your kidneys, and can be released into the bloodstream in response to fear, excitement, or stress. However, adrenaline can be a double-edged sword because it can either propel you to greatness or paralyze you with fear. But it's up to us to decide how we want it to affect us. Therefore, how to control it. Now, when you're in a situation in which adrenaline seems to be the key player on the field and you can physically feel your heart pounding, palms sweaty, and tense muscles, your brain tends to fall under 3 different responses to perceived danger. This being the fight, flight, or freeze response. Starting with the first one, the fight response. The fight response is an aggressive response to perceived danger. It can include physical confrontation or verbal assertiveness. And it kicks in when an individual feels a power that they need to defend themselves. For example, you're in a situation in which someone is bullying you or your friend, and you naturally feel a surge of adrenaline wanting to defend yourself. Now, instead of backing down and thinking what you're going to do, you confront the bully with assertive or forceful words or simply violence, only leading to make the problem bigger. The second one, the flight response. The flight response is an attempt to escape or avoid the perceived danger. This may include running away, hiding away, or simply removing oneself from the situation in which one feels uncomfortable. And the third one, the freeze response. The freeze response is a temporary shutdown of the body's response system. It's like playing dead or becoming still and quiet. That is what happened to me that day. My body was in a temporary state of paralysis. Nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, there is a way to prevent making hasty decisions. And that is by changing one's mindset into a technique called rest and digest. Rest and digest is a phrase often used to describe the temporary body state of relaxation and restoration. It is the activation of the parasympathetic nervous system which facilitates a sense of calmness and restfulness in one's body. Now, when the body is in rest and digest, it shifts away from the fight, flight, or freeze response. And this is because the activation of the parasympathetic nervous system helps promote activities that helps one find peace within themselves, making one be able to digest and process information better, helping them make reasonable responses. Now, there is 3 things you can do to achieve this mindset. Number 1, breathing techniques. Number 2, visualizing a calming image. And number 3, using positive self-talk while trying to stay present. The first one, breathing techniques. There is one breathing technique that has personally helped me a lot be able to find peace within myself and reset. And that is the 4-7-8 breathing technique, which involves breathing in for 4 seconds, holding in for 7 seconds, and exhaling for 8 seconds. Now, for breathing techniques to work, consistency is key. You can't just pretend for it to work miraculously if you do it one time. It needs to become a habit. The second one, visualizing a calming image. Picture yourself in a beach scene and take in the soothing sounds of the waves crashing into the shore, creating a rhythmic and calming melody. Now make sure to fully immerse in this peaceful moment for the restoration and restfulness to wash you over. And the third one, using positive self-talk while trying to stay present. Remind yourself, I am here. I am capable. I can do this. And I will take this step by step. Now, using these techniques will help you stay grounded and drive any type of situation with confidence and composure, preventing you from making hasty, impulsive, or simply no decisions, like me, that day, mid-January, which, by the way, my friend's okay, because I had the privilege of experiencing this scenario with a friend that was capable of staying grounded and used the rest and digest methods in her favor. So after eventually rushing my friend to the hospital, in which she was under professional care and treated for the hypothermia and intoxication her body was experiencing, she was able to be discharged safe and sound a few days later. Now you may ask yourself, why is this so important? Or am I actually going to be in such tragic situations? Well, needing to make a decision under the influence of adrenaline is something that everyone will eventually experience, because adrenaline is a constant factor that predominates our everyday lives. And it is something that can impact us in the minimal things in our lives, such as waking up and being late to school or to work, or in a matter of life and death situation in which you find yourself in an endless loophole. However, I got bad news for you all. It's never going away. So I encourage you all to look straight into the face of adrenaline and reinforce yourself the power you hold over it. Not to work against it, but to work with it. Now, it's a process, not a skill you will master from night till morning. But as a community member and as a human all over the world, let's understand that adrenaline is a wild ride with its great highs and its dark lows. But it's also a ride that can help us claim our autonomy, be able to make decisions right under the eye of adversity, and control our emotions. So let's echo and spread the voice of rest and digest. Let's understand that we hold the power over our emotions and actions if we learn just a little bit of ourselves every day.